Right now, something is controlling your financial future, and you likely don't even realize it. I've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs and high achievers in behavior and goal achievement, and in this video, I'm going to show you how your subconscious mind has been programmed to reject wealth. I'll break it down into 3 hidden psychological traps that keep most people financially stuck, and show you the exact rewiring technique to break free and build lasting wealth. And the moment that you hear this, something is going to click, like pieces of a puzzle snapping into place. The unexplained struggles, doubts, and patterns in your life will start to make sense. Because your teachers, social media, your friends, your partners have reinforced this to you, but the reality is they probably didn't know that they were doing it because they were programmed as well. What if I told you there is a specific part of your brain that controls your ability to see opportunities and make money? And if it's not wired correctly, you will always struggle with money. This force is so powerful that billion-dollar industries rely on it to keep you in financial submission. I'm gonna prove it to you right now. Think back to a time when you were a kid. Maybe you heard someone say something like, money doesn't grow on trees, and rich people are greedy. If you wanna be successful, you have to work harder than everyone else. Now fast forward to today, you want financial freedom, so you read books and you take courses and maybe you even work harder than ever, but for some reason the results don't match up to the effort. It feels like there's an invisible glass ceiling blocking you from the next level, and no matter how much you push, it never cracks. This isn't an accident. From the moment you could process language, your brain was being trained for a specific part of your brain. Now, the perfect example, this is how your brain does this. A few months ago, my friend Katie decided she wanted a new car, and she never really paid attention to cars before. And then one day she saw this really sleek black Tesla parked outside her gym, and something clicked. She started researching it and checking prices and watching reviews. And then out of nowhere, that same car seemed to appear everywhere. She'd see it on her way to work, then she'd spot it at a traffic light. Even on social media, ads for Tesla started popping up like crazy. Now, did the world suddenly explode with Teslas overnight? No. The cars were always there, but Katie's brain wasn't letting her notice them before. Your brain has a filtering system called the reticular activating system. Think of it as a security checkpoint for your mind. It decides which information gets through and what gets ignored. If you've been conditioned to believe that money is scarce, it's hard to get paid a lot of money, and that it's just not realistic, your reticular activating system blocks out opportunities and evidence that doesn't align with that belief. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to magnetically attract wealth while others can't seem to catch a break? One of the reasons contributing to this is their filtering system that lets them see financial opportunities that others literally cannot perceive or believe to be real. And this is not just mindset fluff, this is hardwired neuroscience. See, what you've just experienced is called subconscious money conditioning. It's a form of deep-seated programming that dictates your financial behavior without your conscious permission. The moment you become aware of it, you can start beginning the process of rewiring your brain for wealth. I'm gonna give you exact tactical things that you can do to start rewiring that today in just a moment. Even if you start recognizing financial opportunities, there's still something powerful working against you, because spotting wealth opportunities and increasing your income alone is not enough. Have you ever noticed that no matter how much money you make, the amount of money you actually have at any given moment always seems to level out at about the same amount? You get a raise and suddenly your expenses go up. You land a big client and an unexpected bill wipes out the extra cash. This isn't random and it's not bad luck. It's a hidden setting in your brain that actually determines how much money you are allowed to have. And until you change it, you're gonna be stuck at the same financial level for the rest of your life. In fact, in 1988, a man named William Bud Host won $16.2 million in the Pennsylvania lottery. He had grown up poor, he was living paycheck to paycheck, barely scraping by, and when he won, it seemed like his life had finally changed forever. And at first it did. He even bought houses, cars, private jets, even though he didn't know how to fly. But then things started to fall apart. Within a few months, he was in debt. He blew through the money recklessly, spending it on liabilities instead of investments. He refused to learn how to manage wealth, sticking to the same patterns that he had before he was rich. Within a few years, he was broke. By the end, he was $1 million in debt, living off food stamps. He ended up saying, "I wish it never happened." Think about that. This man had millions handed to him, and his own subconscious mind dragged him back to financial struggle. Now you might think, well, he just made some bad financial choices. But what if I told you this isn't just a one-time case? A shocking 70% of lottery winners go completely broke within 5 years. But here's what's even crazier. The same pattern happens at every income level. The entrepreneur who finally hits 6 figures and then burns out and stops taking action. The freelancer who lands high-paying clients and then procrastinates and starts missing deadlines. Or the sales rep who crushes their sales quota and then suddenly starts forgetting to follow up on leads. It's like there's this invisible force pulling them back. This is exactly what's happening. This isn't just a lottery problem. This is the actual neuroscience behind why this is happening. Your basal ganglia is a part of your brain that controls habit. It's designed to keep things predictable and automatic. So that means if you've been conditioned to believe you're a 50K per year person, your brain will fight against anything that threatens that identity. If you start making more, your subconscious activates self-sabotage behaviors. It brings you back down. If you start making less, it triggers a sense of urgency and hustle to get back to that baseline financially. This is why most people stay within 10 to 20% of their usual income for their entire lives, regardless of opportunities. And I submit to you, your brain is running on what I call a financial thermostat. This is a preset limit on how much wealth you believe you're supposed to have. And just like a thermostat in your house, no matter how much money flows in, your subconscious mind adjusts your behavior to bring you back down to your comfort zone. It's your subconscious limit on how much money you allow yourself to have. And so I'm gonna show you exactly how to reprogram your financial thermostat so your brain starts actually working for you instead of against you. But even if you will wire your brain and spot opportunities to build income and you reprogram your financial thermostat to stop sabotaging your money, there's still one more factor that influences your brain's ability to create and keep wealth. What if I told you that most of the things you spend money on weren't actually your choice? Think about it. That car you drive, the clothes you wear, even the restaurants you eat at, you probably feel like you made those decisions yourself. Here's the truth. You didn't. Long before you pulled out your wallet, your brain was actually influenced into making those purchases. And once you see how this works, you realize that your spending habits have been shaped by forces you weren't even aware of. In 1951, a psychologist named Solomon Asch ran an experiment that exposed something really terrifying about human behavior. He gathered a group of people together and showed them a simple test: 3 lines of different lengths and 1 target line. And so the task was identify which of the 3 lines matched the target line. Sounds pretty easy, right? The answer's obvious, but here's the catch. Everyone in the group except for 1 person was a paid actor. And so one by one, all of the paid actors went first and gave the wrong answer on purpose. At first, the real participant looked confused. He thought he knew the answer they gave was completely wrong. But after everyone went around the table and hearing the same incorrect answer multiple times, something shocking happened. He started to agree with them. Over and over, participants ignored what they knew was true just to match the group. Why? Because the brain is wired to prioritize belonging over accuracy. And that instinct doesn't just apply to social situations, it deeply applies to how you choose to use your money. Right now, unconsciously, your financial decisions are being dictated by the people around you. You see your friends buying expensive things, so you feel the need to spend, even if it hurts you financially. You notice your coworkers struggling with money, so you subconsciously adopt the same beliefs about what's normal. You watch social media influencers flaunting their lifestyle, and suddenly you're justifying purchases you never would have made before. And this happens even when you know it's a bad idea. That's because your brain's dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is constantly scanning your environment, ensuring that you stay in sync with the group. This is why so many people fall into financial traps like buying liabilities instead of assets because everyone else does it, or living paycheck to paycheck because that's normal, or avoiding wealth building strategies because their friends aren't doing it either. And the worst part part is this influence doesn't feel like an influence. You think you're making independent choices, but in reality, you're following an invisible script, one that was written by the people around you. What I've just demonstrated is called the herd mentality effect. It's a silent force that keeps most people financially trapped because instead of making wealth-building decisions, they copy the behaviors of people around them. And unless you break free from it, you will always match the financial patterns of your environment, no matter how much money you make. But here's the good news. The same principle that's working against you can be flipped to work for you. And in the next section, I'm going to show you how to hijack the herd mentality effect so it starts pushing you towards financial success automatically. But here's the question. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? And do they have the financial habits you want to adopt? Once you recognize this pattern, you're going to start seeing exactly why you are where you are financially. So here's how to fix it. Imagine you're in a dark room and you've been living there for years. You've memorized every inch of it, where the furniture is, how to navigate without bumping into anything. You've adapted to the darkness. And one day, someone tells you there's a light switch on the wall. You hesitate because for as long as you can remember, you've been navigating without it. And eventually, you reach out and you flip the switch. And suddenly, everything changes. You can see all of the obstacles clearly. You realize there was a door there that you never even noticed before. And now, moving around is effortless. This is exactly what happens when you reprogram your financial mindset. Most people are navigating their finances in the dark, relying on outdated beliefs and outdated habits. These are the things that keep them trapped. But once you flip the switch, once you rewire your brain for wealth, everything changes. You don't have to force yourself to save money. You don't have to struggle to see opportunities. You don't have to battle against self-sabotage. This works because your brain operates on neuroplasticity, meaning the neural pathways you use most often get stronger, while the ones you ignore get weaker. So right now, if you've spent years reinforcing scarcity beliefs like making money is hard, or I'm not the kind of person who gets rich, if I make too much, I'll lose it all, then those beliefs become your default setting. But when you start to actually reinforce wealth-building behaviors, like spotting financial opportunities, managing money effectively, acting like a high-income person, your brain rewires itself to make those behaviors automatic. Elite performers, self-made millionaires, and high-level entrepreneurs don't just work harder than everyone else. They've programmed their brains to see opportunities differently, take action faster, and move through financial decisions with confidence. And the moment you start doing the same thing, you'll notice something incredible. 1, the habits that used to feel hard become easy. The money opportunities you never noticed become obvious. The fears that kept you stuck start to disappear because you're no longer navigating in the dark. What you've just learned is called neurocognitive wealth reprogramming. It's the process of intentionally rewiring your brain to make wealth-building behaviors automatic. The same way a thermostat controls the temperature in your house, and your brain controls the financial thermostat in your mind, and unless you intentionally raise it, you will always snap back to the same level of success. So how do you do this? How do you upgrade your internal system? How do you install this new programming into your mind? See, right now you're at a crossroads. You just learned that your financial reality is a direct result of your subconscious programming. You now understand that your money habits, your income level, and even your financial struggles weren't entirely your fault. They were wired into you. But here's the real question. What are you going to do about it? If you don't take control of this process, your brain will default back into its old patterns. But if you follow what I'm about to show you, you can install a wealth mindset that makes financial success inevitable. Let me show you how. Imagine a world-class athlete. When they step onto the field, do they think about how to move their body? Do they remind themselves to react quickly, position their hands, adjust their stance? No, their body does it automatically because they've spent years building muscle memory. Their brain fires the right commands instantly. Now, here's what most people don't realize. You can train your brain to do the exact same thing with money. When your subconscious mind is reprogrammed for wealth, you don't have to force yourself to make the right financial decisions. You automatically spot the opportunities others miss. You take action faster with more confidence. You move through financial obstacles without hesitation because just like an elite athlete, you've trained yourself to win before the game even starts. The key to this transformation lies in 3 core rewiring techniques. Number 1, behavioral override. This is the power of identity shifting. Your brain doesn't follow what you want it to follow, it follows what you believe you are. If you keep seeing yourself as someone who tries to be successful but isn't there yet, your brain will keep pulling you back to your old financial patterns. But when you act like a wealthy person before you become one, your subconscious mind starts making decisions that match that identity. Ask yourself, What would a financially successful version of me do in this moment? Start behaving like you're already at that level, because when your actions shift, your identity follows. Number 2, mental priming. Training your brain to expect wealth. Your reticular activating system is always filtering the world based on what it believes is relevant to you. If you've trained it to focus on scarcity, struggle, or fear, you will keep blocking out financial opportunities. But you can override this by priming your brain for wealth. How do we do this? Daily visualization. Spend 2 minutes every morning imagining yourself living in financial abundance. Affirmation. Layering affirmation into this. Repeat identity-based affirmations like, I always attract and manage wealth effortlessly. And then control your environment. So your environmental influences. Surround yourself with people and content that reinforces a high income mindset. Your brain will adjust its filters and show you the opportunities that you have always had, that have always been there, but you couldn't see before. And number 3, controlled exposure. Raising your financial thermostat. Remember that wealth financial thermostat is set to whatever level feels normal to you. If you suddenly make more than you were used to, more than what feels normal, your subconscious freaks out and sabotages you. So the fastest way to increase your financial thermostat is to normalize financial success. How do we do this? Spend time around people who earn at the level you want to reach. Expose yourself to wealth building conversations, content, experiences. Start handling larger sums of money, even if it's just managing virtual amounts in a spreadsheet. And over time, your brain will start seeing wealth as something that's not foreign. It starts seeing it as the new baseline. And then what happens? Success stops feeling like a fight. You become an automatic money magnet. What you've just learned is called neurocognitive wealth engineering. It's the process of deliberately rewiring your brain so that wealth building behaviors happen without resistance. Most people never take control of this part of their life, which is why they stay stuck in the same financial level their entire lives. But the ones who do, they create unstoppable momentum, where financial success isn't something they chase, it's just who they are. And so now you have the same tools to do the same. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the mindset side of financial achievement, and I'll see you on the next one.